Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Cape Cod International Raceway for the 16th race of the NAMAR Mountain Dew Code Red Series season. We're getting ready for 21 laps of action here as Enzo Nareza won the coin toss. So for the first time, or second time this season, we have a Toyota on the pole position, but it matters a little more here because of the way the grid is laid out. You can see it here. There's no even inside-outside line. First place gets about 3/4 of a car length, maybe a full car length over second place, and it works its way up the hill through the whole field. So Zorlin will start second once again. Actually, come to think of it, Zorlin, out of his 4 heat wins, has graced the pole just twice at Atlanta and Pocono. Nareza will try and get Toyota its first win on the season. Let's go through the rest of your starting order. Starting in third will be Johnny Gardner. Fourth place, Seth Cole got that runner-up at Papyrus. Fifth, Eli Bright. Sixth, Colt Hudson. Seventh is his teammate Corey Riggs. Eighth, Alan Cavagnaro. Ninth, Zachary Fitzwater Sr. So all the RSS racing cars will start inside the top 10, considering the nature of this track and how hard it is to make passes. Their strategy play here today could get them all top 10 finishes if they can hold off the people charging from the back. Lastly, starting in 10th is your winner from Coca-Cola, R.J. Bishop. So let's go through the rest of this starting grid just to give you an idea. 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and so on. As a reminder, the top 2 in points, Matthew Logan and Dylan Young, failed to qualify for today's event. So that's going to shake up the points. Let's look at those point standings. Logan came in with a 19-point lead over Dylan Young. Both those drivers missed out today. Andrew Rich sits third in points, 26 points behind Logan. Bright, fourth in points, 86 back. Braxton, fifth in points, 87 back. Rest of your top 10 is Audra Baranauskas, Dale Lightning, Ryan Brommer, Nico Tringali, and Jonathan Zorlin. We'll get to the rest of your top 20 really quickly here as we have time before the green flag. 11th to 20th, Nareza, Commons, Bishop, Oskin, Ellison, Jones, Fitzwater, Nanako, Seth Cole, and Sakuli. First 5 out, Gardner, Cavagnaro, Riggs, Hudson, and Watson. Here we go. We're getting ready to go racing. 21 laps, caution free. Green flag waves, and we are underway. Seth Cole with a pretty good jump on the start will make a move to the left of Jonathan Zorlin as they head into turn 1. When Seth Cole out into the grass, remember the back of the field, they tend to get 3 wide in certain areas, and right in this next section is where that will be very dangerous. We're going to go to the helicopter camera as we peel to the back of the pack. We're looking for a 3 wide scenario, and here's one right here. Martin Wild, Baranauskas, and Johnson. Right in front of them, they're 3 wide as well. Flickinger, Tringali, and Onjack. Contact is made. Wild gets spun. Benny Watson makes contact, but everyone else makes it through, and they're still 3 wide up ahead of them. Tringali will clear the 90. Those 3 almost wrecked too, but they managed to save it. Meanwhile, not so lucky is Onjack's teammate, Benny Watson. Heavy left side damage to the 36 machine. Martin Wild also with some back end damage, maybe some left end, definitely some front end damage. We'll see if these 2 drivers elect to come down pit road before we return to the front of the field. Entering the race here today, Wild comes in 39th in the standings. He's made all but 2 races. Meanwhile, Benny Watson, 25th in points, has made every race, and he's got 2 top 10s on the season. He's been trying to get a charge towards that top 20, but it looks like today will not be his day. Luckily, depending what he does, he can gain back a lot of time in clean air. It looks like he will stay out for now. And we'll return to the front of the field as Enzo Nareza has a 1 second lead already over second place Seth Cole. Sorlin's in third, and how about Colt Hudson charging for fourth place on Johnny Gardner? What is this out of RSS Racing? Riggs is still in the top 10 in ninth. Meanwhile, Fitzwater has fallen to 11th. We don't know who will have the best lap. The best first laps go to Cole and Hudson. But we'll see how much speed they actually have here in the long running of this thing. We're expecting one pit stop, likely probably around lap 10, right around the halfway mark. In the heat races, they made it to lap 5. So we should see everyone pit around lap 10, 11, and everyone should hopefully be able to make it on the one stop. If we see some two-stop strategies, those who have to pit again will likely finish poorly. Remember, road courses, no caution flags. And Hudson, it looks like, will fall in line in 5th. 6th is Eli Bright. 7th, Cavagnaro. 8th is Bishop. 9th, Riggs. And 10th is Commons. Fitzwater has fallen down to 12th place as Commons and Nanako look to maybe get into the top 10 here. Well, Commons in the top 10, of course, but Nanako probably looking if he and the 19 pass the 93. So now we'll see really who has fast times and who does not. And there it is. Nareza and Seth Cole appear to be pretty equal. They're both running 146.7s. The rest of the field, not so hot. Next fastest lap is Sorlin at a 147.0. Braxton with a 127. You can see Watson, though he's at the back of the field, ran a 129 with his damage. That's in clean air, and that's key if you want to catch up to the back of the field, because look, the people at the back are stuck running 150 lap times. You're gaining 3 seconds a lap. And there you can see Wild and Watson have already closed back up to the back of the field. Now it'll all be about performance. There's battle for position here. This is for 12th place between Oskin and Fitzwater. Oskin currently inside the top 20. Let's actually see exactly where he is. We skipped over him very briefly, but after missing one event, Oskin is still 14th in points. He's won the coin toss both times he's won heat races. Actually, according to my sheet, Sorlin has 3 poles. Really? Sorlin has 3 poles? Ah, yes, that's right. He did win the coin toss at Coca-Cola 2. I forgot about that for some reason. I think it's because I accidentally wrote down the wrong number. And then I looked up and it was, oh no, wait, the 00 on the coin toss. So this is the first time that Sorlin's won a heat race that he has not started first place. So Oskin will get by Fitzwater. So will Andrew Rich. That'll drop the 39th to 14th place. Meanwhile, Commons is looking to get by Riggs for 9th. He's not exactly running any hot laps here. Seth Cole has run a 146.53. So it looks like Seth Cole could be the man to beat here. He did win a strategy-filled race, or a strategy-ending race, during the Mountain Dew For the Win Cup Series. That's on the NRSL League. Seth Cole did win that race, hunting down another driver at the end on strategy. So Seth Cole looks like Cape Cod's his kind of road course. And Commons will get by Riggs for 9th. That'll set up Nanako and Oskin, teammates in identical looking paint schemes with different sponsors, by the way. If you look at these cars, you can see you've got the Wabash on the hood of the 12, and meanwhile the 22 has LTI printing. Now this will be the final race we see these identical looking paint schemes. It's just a slightly different tint to red, but with the Penske signature scheme they look pretty much the same. We'll see how Andrew Rich does, trying to close in in 13th place. This is a good race for him to capitalize. Right now, he would make enough points to take the points lead. And just remember, you're the regular season champion through the 34 races on the schedule. You get a bonus of 5 points for the playoffs. It's not a lot, but it can mean something, especially when you're battling the same people week in and week out. So Rich looking pretty good for that. We'll continue to go through the field as Nanako's making a move on Riggs. Lightning sits in 15th, as we're going to quickly check. Seth Cole cuts down the lead another 10th. Nothing's really changing in the top 10. Lightning 15th, teammate Braxton right behind in 16th. Quinton Moore, first race, and after missing 3 races, he's sitting 17th right now, trying to gain some points back. Mendez 18th, Deaver 19th, and teammate Ellison behind in 20th. We see Sekuli in 21st, Brommer 22nd, Flickinger, Tringali, Marty Johnson 25th. Johnson trying to get into the top 30 any way he can if he manages to get a win somewhere. Remember, in a total of, it's about 10 races away, the New Zealand doubleheader at Puco, which I'm still pronouncing that very incorrectly. I have to look it up again. I gotta remember to look it up again. I think it's Pukoki. Or no, wait. Pukekohe? Pukekohe. I think it's Pukekohe. I think that's how they say it. I could be wrong. I think it's Pukekohe. So Pukekohe, and again, I will look it up to confirm. That's our doubleheader race, and the way that works, it's 2 23-lap events, which will basically summarize into one of the longest road courses of the season. It's 2 23-lap events. Everyone does their heat races, which will be short 8-lap heat races, and then, so it's going to be a long weekend. 2 8-lap heat races. Same thing applies. Now you're racing to get into both races, and then the way it'll work is we have our starting lineup for the first race, coin flip, all that good stuff. But then for the second race, what will happen is whoever's on the lead lap, we will inverse the field, and that we will start the second race that way. So drivers whoever wins the first race will have 23 laps to make their way from, let's just say, for example, 28 cars finish on the lead lap. They'll have 23 laps to make their way up through there. Pukekohe is usually a survival race, so we'll see how many cars get taken out. This will be the first time with an expanded ratings package that I'll be running this track, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. But so Johnson's trying to get to the top 30 because if he somehow inverses and starts at the front, he's got one of the better cars. He could get a win if he's lucky. He sits currently 34th in the standings, coming in behind Benjamin Ice. Actually, he's tied with Benjamin Ice. 3 points behind Otts for 32nd, and then a total of 14 behind Tremblay for 31st, and then Turner is another 49 ahead of him. Speaking of Turner, he's running 28th place, so right now Johnson's gaining points on him too. Baran-Oscar's not having a good day so far. She's 27th. We saw her making contact earlier. Fernandez 29th. Otts is 30th, so Johnson gaining on him right now. There's King and there's Ice. So Johnson gaining where he needs to, but the more points he could get, the better. So we'll see if he tries to pull any strategy here. As Martin Wild has come to pit road, Watson has not. Wild did. Watson is still stuck in 39th. As Nareza continues to lead the race. Again, looking at the front of the field, not much changing going on. Riggs is in 11th. Fitzwater now 15th. So not a lot of passing going on. Let's go up to the 38. Let's see how he's doing. And you can see Hudson's just stuck here. It doesn't look like Hudson's holding anyone up. If anyone's holding people up, it looks to be the 0-0 of Zorlin. He's just sitting here in third in front of his teammate Johnny Gardner. And it looks like Gardner's faster. He's just trying to get by him any way he can. A few other drivers have cracked 146 times. Commons and Rich are among those two. And meanwhile, Seth Cole continues to track down Enzo Nereza. So right now, between these two drivers, it looks like we could see a first-time winner on the season, not just for the team, but for the driver. Nereza, we know, came close at Martinsville, got into it with lap car of, I think it was Jackson King in the 99. That gave him heavy performance damage. Dale Lightning went on to catch him, pass him, win the race, and Nereza was left with a top 10 finish. And Seth Cole, we know, came very close, had fresh tires, the freshest tires on track at Papyrus last week, but due to the draft nature of the racetrack, Andrew Rich got a good enough run and was able to pass him in the final corner. But now Seth Cole is catching Nereza, and you can see he's just been inching towards him every lap. We've been here a long time. I cannot believe I've been talking for 7 full laps. So we're going to take a quick step aside. I know it's just getting good at the front, but we're going to take a quick breather and we'll come back on lap 10. We're back here at Cape Cod International Raceway. Nereza is still your leader over Seth Cole. As we approach lap number 10, here come our race leaders down the hill. So the start-finish line, Gardner has made it into third. We've had a bevy of other changes on the racetrack, most notably RJ Bishop has fallen down to 10th. And ooh, a look by Seth Cole there. But no cigar so far. Commons and Nanako passing Bishop for 8th and 9th. And now it looks like Nanako, from what we saw at the start-finish line, was charging on one side of the 19. Riggs has fallen outside the top 10 now to 11th. And Fitzwater has fallen to 18th. There do not appear to be any other changes. Everyone else kind of still running where they're at. Looks like Benny Watson has made his pit stop for damage. And we'll see where he ends up compared to Martin Wild. Wild made his stop very early. Wild definitely going to have to pit again. Not sure if Watson will or not. But the battle for this lead continues to rage between Nereza and Seth Cole, and pit stops could decide who comes out first. Gardner has begun closing the gap. He was stuck behind the 00 for so long that it appears to have helped keep his tires better than the 20 and the 15. So this could become a 3-man race. And you can see the 98 closing in fast. There's another driver and team without a victory on the season. None of the top 3 pitting on lap 10. That means one thing's for certain. These drivers can make it on one pit stop. And then yet again, we've been proving to be wrong as drivers have underfueled, the pit crews have underfueled their drivers' cars and cost them finishes. We saw it at Coca-Cola, we saw it at Papyrus. It seems to be a summer trend, or in this case a fall trend, as we're into the month of September now. And there's Seth Cole peaking again. We're actually almost in October. I think we are in October. I have to look at my YouTube scheduling again. But we're into October. And I'm going to confirm it's October because I think the last race I uploaded was Coca-Cola. And I have to upload Papyrus while I render the Cape Cod races. What I do is I render the most recent races, and then the races before that I upload while I'm rendering. That's my that's how I do it. So I believe Coca-Cola is like the last Friday in September, as I'm recording this the first week of August. So you can see I'm pretty far ahead, and it's a good thing that I'm this far ahead because after I finish broadcasting school September 9th, I don't know what my availability is going to be to record these races. So the more I record these, the better. And basically, any free time where there's no one in the house, I am recording while balancing schoolwork, of course. But not a lot of home assignments for broadcasting school, so that is a good thing. And man, Johnny Gardner has chopped down that lead. You're seeing it on your screen. I just looked at the differential. How long will Nereza and Seth Cole hold off the 98? Because they are continuing to race here. Colt Hudson has made it by Zorland for 4th. Nanako made it up to 8th. Bishop has made it back by Commons. Pardon me. Yeah, and man, oh man, Johnny Gardner's coming. Seth Cole might want to get by the 20. It looks like the 20's holding up the 15. There's a bit of a dive to the right side of Nareza. Battle for the lead. Nareza gets a better run off the corner. Does he put the bumper to him? Are we at the stages of bumpers? 10 to go. No one's come to pit road yet. Ooh, Seth Cole's still trying to inch his nose in there, but it's not a good corner to do so. That's going to cost him a little time. But Cole's still right on the bumper of Nareza. Gardner about 1 car length behind the 15. What do you do if you're Johnny Gardner? When do you make the move, or when do you pit? Do you want to pit before these drivers go down pit road or after? That's the real question here. So I don't know if Hudson is really going to gain ground on these drivers or not. But Sorlin has fallen to 5th after starting 2nd versus what Fitzwater did. Sorlin's held his own pretty well. Here we are on lap 12, coming to 13. Will anyone make a pit stop? And the answer is still no. And Colt Hudson has a ton of front end damage. It looks like he got fed up with Sorlin, and this is how he made it by the 00. So I don't even know if he'll be a factor. He gained a full 2nd that lap, even with this damage. But if the team elects to fix that damage, it's going to hurt them. You can see a lot of drivers are stacking up here. Behind the 00, it's just really getting antsy. We saw this happen in NRSL. The drivers start stacking up going into that corner. It's such a high-speed corner. Nanako has made it up to 6th. Man, oh man, you better watch out. The 12 car might be the fastest of them all. Look how much he stuck that next to the 00 versus what the 15 did with the 20 a lap ago. And it looks like Nanako will get by Zorlin for 5th. I mean, he's making it look easy. And this is a right side of the car corner. Not that corner. This one right here. And there it is. Nanako to 5th place. Sorlin backs out of it, and he'll fall to 6th. He could lose more positions too. Cavagnaro has fallen to 9th. There's Hudson closing in as Gardner's made a move on Seth Cole. Two fierce competitors in the NRSL Cup Series. Now here in the NAMAR Code Red Series, duking it out. And we're coming to 8 to go. Will anyone make a pit stop? And the answer is the entire top 4. This is where incidents tend to happen. Will anyone get dumped? It looks like everyone is going to pit. Ooh, some people backing out to give room. That's going to hurt some drivers. It's going to help Baran-Oscus. Wow, I don't know what Tringali was doing there. But everyone comes to pit on lap 13. Oh, Flickinger and Johnson. Flickinger, Johnson, Onjack, Cage, and Beckett pit the lap before. We'll see what that does for the 6 and 23. As we look at our pit stops, 4 tires for all. Who comes out first? And the 20 will be the first one out. The 15 is going to have a bit of a run on him. Ooh, do we get a battle here in the 1? Seth Cole to the right side in the Reza. He's going to try and squeeze him onto the curbs. Battle for the lead between the 15 and the 20 right out of pit road. Does Nareza have the advantage here in this section? Man, Seth Cole's trying to drive it really hard. Advantage 15. Advantage 20. They're even. Look at this battle for the lead here right out of the pits yet again. Oh my goodness. Seth Cole with a bit of an edge. Nereza's got to clear him here if he doesn't want to have to lift. Ooh, Nereza got a good exit there. Did he get him? He did. Nereza clears Seth Cole because right there, that is not a corner you want to be side by side with somebody. But Seth Cole fighting right back to the right side of the 20 he goes. What a battle for the race lead between two drivers who have not won this season. Meanwhile, behind them, Nanako has made it up to fourth. He's battling Gardner for third. And if you're Cole or Nereza, you want to get the lead. You want to keep the lead because you know the 12's going to be coming. Seth Cole's almost cleared up, and Gardner almost got turned by Nanako into the grass, but he saves it. And Nanako will pass Johnny Gardner for third. He almost hooked the 98 for that position, and it looks like down the front straightaway, one lap after pit stops, Seth Cole will take the lead from Nereza. Does Nereza give up? Does he get back to the bumper of the 15? Hudson still showing strong in fifth. Battle for sixth there between Bishop and Commons. Sorlin's down to eighth. Flickinger's up to ninth from pitting early. That put Marty Johnson up to 11th. Peter Onjak up to 16th. Cage moves up to 23rd. Heck, Watson, who pit early, he's 28th. And Beckett is 29th, who had a poor stop. Tringale's 33rd. Moore fell to 30th. Turner's 27th, so that's really going to help Marty Johnson. But Seth Cole to the race lead. Nereza down to second, but will Nanako be denied? He came so close at Coca-Cola Superspeedway, and he was a factor, I believe, at Papyrus. He's inching in on the bumper of the 20. I don't even know where the 12 car started. He didn't even start inside the top 10. He's up here looking for a win. He's giving the bumper to the 20 now. Will he do the same that he did to the 98? Nanako's saying, hey man, I'm here. Nereza's chance at the win he's now seeing is gone unless something crazy happens. Perhaps you let the 12 by and let him wreck himself and the 15. Gardner, however, gained 4/10 just about that lap on the leader. It's a 4-car battle here with 6 to go. And Nanako messes up that corner. Hudson's looking at his best finish of the season if he holds on to 5th. You look at the points, Hudson sits 24th with 3 top 10s on the year. What would a top 5 mean for RSS Racing? Riggs with 2 top 10s, and Fitzwater has been the best out of them all. 2 top 5s and 5 top 10s for him. So what would a top 5 mean for RSS Racing from one of their other cars? It would be huge, but Commons is charging from 6th place. It looks like they've kind of stabilized. Nanako not gaining that fast now. But we know he's got a good car, unless he burned up his tires right out of the pit road. You also got to remember, Nanako and Gardner were stuck in traffic the whole first run. It let them really save their stuff. Who's got the fastest time now? Wow, Brahmer ran a 1:46.0. Nanako a 1:46.4, so we know he's quick. But it's all about how you get by the 20. It'll be 5 laps to go here at Cape Cod. Johnson has fallen to 12th. So even with his strategy, Johnson not going to hold off enough. Brommer's in 21st. Riggs has fallen to 22nd. Fitzwater to 26th. So out of the 3 RSS Racing cars, Hudson is the only one remaining in the top 10, and it looks like he does have pressure from the 19 of Commons. There's the battle for 5th place. That's another 2 points for Commons. For a driver like Commons who hasn't won, those 2 points could mean everything for the chase picture. Right now, the only Joe Gibbs driver outside the top 20, I believe, is Cavagnaro. And indeed, it's 22nd place for Cavagnaro. Gardner came in this race 21st, a point out. Gardner's looking pretty good at moving into the top 20. Narezis in 11th. He's looking pretty good on points right now, and Commons sits just behind him in 12th. And Commons will move up to 5th place by the 38. Will the 38 even be able to keep his top 10 run going? Gardner's started to trail off. Nareza is starting to catch back up to Seth Cole, unless I am mistaken. Bold prediction that Marty Johnson finishes in the top 20. Brommer's into 20th. No problems for any drivers. Fingali up to 32nd. Just a reminder that Johnson is racing Turner, who holds 30th in the points. And that time by, Seth Cole gaining another 10th on Nareza. Nanako not gaining any time right now. 29th in the points is Mendez, but Mendez has 30 points over Turner. So right now the focus is indeed on Turner. Johnson needs to gain on Ice, Otts, and Tremblay. Tremblay, I think, missed this race. Indeed he did. The 45 did not start this event, so Johnson will likely pass him if he finishes top 20 today. And the laps are winding down. 4 to go at the line. The 28 sits in 31st with the 60 in 27th. So he's gaining all the way around right now. Even in Benjamin Ice, he's tied with Ice, and Ice is 35th. So Johnson's looking really good. He's got a ton of races to gain these points, and it takes time to gain points when you've missed so many races. So he's looking pretty good. I think the really hard part will be beating Turner out for 30th in the standings. Right now, we should focus on this guy right here, the 15 of Seth Cole. Came so close to winning Papyrus. Blew the motor right after finishing second. Just shows how hard he was pushing his race car. We come in today and Seth Cole sits 19th in the standings. He just moved up from 25th with his 2nd place finish. It was his first top 5 on the season. And now he's looking for that first win. And a win would really catapult him up into the top 20, maybe the top 15. He would be the 3rd driver with a win outside the top 10. Bishop 13th in points, Ellison 15th in points. And both of those drivers have 4 top 10s on the season. Seth Cole wins today, that's his 4th top 10. However, one thing different from Ellison and Bishop Seth Cole would have is 2 top 5s. So we are at 3 to go. And 3 cars have not left him. He's gaining ground at the line, but they have not gone away. Nareza, Nanako, and Gardner still trail. Commons by himself in 5th. He's gaining nothing from what I can tell. Flickinger has just fallen to 10th. And Johnson still holds in 12th. Those are some of the drivers we're focusing on. Cavagnaro 16th. Peter Onjak pit early, he's 17th. Quentin Moore was in 30th after pit stops. He's made it up to 28th. So good sign there for the 51 team. Watson has fallen all the way to 37th from how early he pit. We know Martin Wild pit again already. But we'll be coming to 2 laps to go here at Cape Cod. We've got 4 drivers in the running. Any of them could be a first-time winner. As Nanako's got a run on the Reza. He's giving him the lane. And it looks like Nanako's putting on the jets. He gained that time on Seth Cole. All he's got to do now is get by the Reza. And this is letting Gardner close up on the 2 of them. Does Nanako have enough to clear Nareza for second? It's another 4 points on the season. Nareza's still there. They're fighting hard side by side. Nanako comes into this race 18th in the points. Nareza 11th. Nanako has 356 points to Nareza's 417. That really shows you who needs the 4 points more. So I was just checking what camera I was on there, but Nanako will clear Nareza. Now the question is, can Nanako track down Seth Cole and take away the race lead from him? Reminder, next race on the schedule, we head to Vermont as we're looping back to New York to end this East Coast swing and the road course string of 5 tracks. It will be our second standing start road course on the year. Watkins Glen and Island Rally will be rolling start races. We got 2 10-lap heats with a 30-lap main event at Burlington on a 1.4 mile road course. So that should be a very interesting race. This track's 2.7, so shorter lap times and maybe a faster race. But anyways, we're coming to the white flag lap here at Cape Cod. Can Seth Cole hold on to this race lead and get his first win of the season? Nanako, even with his battle with Nareza, gained almost 2/10 on the 15. But does he have time to gain 8/10? If he gets to the bumper, does he use it? He used it on Gardner coming out of pit road. So Nanako has shown he is not afraid to do it if he has to. Where does Nanako gain the time he needs to catch the 15? Looking at the rest of the top 10 really quick. Sorlin 7th right behind Hudson. It looks like Hudson will get that top 10. Meanwhile, Johnson 12th. He might lose that position to Lightning, but it looks like Johnson will gain a good amount of points on his competition. Through one of the highest speed corners or speed sections of the track. Is there anything Nanako can do? He's definitely closing, but I don't know if he has the time. This is a really slow corner. Here comes Nanako in the 12. JD Motorsports. We talk about a team that we expected to probably have a win by now, but it hasn't happened. They've been outdone by Junior Motorsports and Richard Childress Racing. Along the way, a win by Colleague Racing, a win by Chip Ganassi Racing. But now, that changes. Coming through the final corner, up and down the hill, it will be Seth Cole, who came runner-up at Papyrus, getting his first victory of the season here at Cape Cod International Raceway. And you see Nanako closed it down 3 more tenths, but it looks like he needed probably a lap or 2 more to get the job done. Nareza will get his best finish of the year in 3rd. Johnny Gardner 4th, with Skyke Commons rounding out the top 5. Sorlin takes away 6th from Colt Hudson on the final lap. Samet Oskin 8th. RJ Bishop 9th. And Adam Flickinger will use strategy to catapult himself from what was a mid-20s finish to 10th place. Marty Johnson does fall indeed to 13th, but that's still a great point stay for that team in comparison to Jesse Turner, who ends up in 26th. Ice ended up 35th, Otts 30th, and of course we mentioned Brian Tremblay missing the race, so I believe Johnson is now 31st in the standings. And he gained 13 points on Turner. Not sure the exact distance, but we'll be sure to get you that information here as the race results are official. Bad day for Benny Watson, 25th in the points. That's going to hurt him. But that is all I've got for you here from Cape Cod. Congrats again go to Seth Cull on the victory, and I will see you guys in a few days in Burlington, Vermont.